Hello, 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 and welcome to not RTA, thank Christ. We're all so lucky to live on this day. Anyway, they actually did a balance patch, which is remarkable. I'm so down on this company that I didn't think they'd actually do it. But it's fine. None of it is relevant, and we'll go over it now. So, hooray. So, 3 Moonlights, Pirate Captain Flan, Closer Charles, Archdemon. Archdemon is the only one that I'm excited about. Because she was bad. She was nothing but low percentages to do her thing, and is just, like, look at New Moon Luna, and then look at ADS, and yeah. Just, like, poor girl. But she also doesn't... There's also no OPSIG, there's no FCC, there's no Elena, there's no Architect Leica, there's no freaking, who else is really bad? Someone else. I don't know. Someone else is really bad. I've tried to think of who it is, but I can't. 3 Covenants, Elagos, Chloe, Euphine, which sounds cleavy, and Sinful Angelica. And then Artifacts, Sigurd, and an Offer You Can't Refuse. Offer You Can't Refuse, I believe, is Elagos's thing. Yeah. Anyway, let's start off with the disappointment. It's Pirate Captain Flan. Surely this will be interesting and change her completely. So her S1 now steals a buff instead of being a 75% chance to steal buff. And that's it. That's her change. I guess her S2 also changed a little bit. Now, instead of redirecting 30% damage to the front, she just decreases damage suffered by 30%. Okay. This doesn't intrinsically change her at all. But what about the last part? After an ally attacks, if the target does not have a buff, activates Hunt. And it can only be activated once every 3 turns as opposed to 2. So, yeah. This is not even a change. This is not going to make her more meta. This is not going to do anything. Enhance synergy and survivability, my ass. This does nothing for Flan. Literally nothing. She saw like 1% usage before this, and she will see 1% usage after this. Wholly disappointing. Actually nothing. The disappointment. Here's the disappointment of the group. Just awful. Hunt will be adjusted so that its effect is triggered when the target does not have a buff after an ally uses a skill, regardless of who uses a skill. Now that it's become much easier to be triggered, the skill's cooldown will increase by 1. Meanwhile, Mage Luna's S2 will be decreased to 1 turn because... Shut up. Closer Charles next. We're going to stop talking about Pirate Captain Flan because it makes me angry. Closer Charles. His S3 now... Or I guess this is his S1. I don't actually know what he does. His S1 now has lifesteal. And does more damage. Great. Wonderful. Again, not very exciting. At the start of the first battle, increases his evasion for 2 turns. So now he has a 50% evasion buff. Wait, is that a buff? Or does it just... I imagine it's a buff. An effect that increases, okay. Maybe it's not a buff. I don't know. It's hard to know. They're crazy. If the enemy's health is 40% less, then it increases to 50, it's the same thing. So his S3 is not changing. His S2 now just gives him evasion for a turn, and also it's changed from 30% to 40%. So again, not really a change. Just, I guess, just a little bit of consistency stuff. We'll have to see how much damage he gains from his S1. If it's like BBK levels of S1, then he might be a little bit annoying, but I highly doubt that. So he's fine. Archdemon Shadow, the one I'm excited about, because they're getting rid of all of her percentages, which is fantastic. Her S1 now has a blatant 100% chance to seal, which is fantastic because 75% is laughable in the face of Knockwall and Mage Luna. Just absolutely laughable. Her S1 now just ignores effect res, but that's to be a given, considering her S1 now has a 100% chance to seal. It'd be redundant if it didn't. Instead of having a 40% chance to an 80% chance to activate Burst, after using a basic skill when the target is sealed, increases her attack before activating Burst. So it will always happen. This was why I never used ADS, because I have awful luck, and I would fail the 25% chance if I to seal. If I did hit the seal, I would lose the 40% chance to do an extra attack. Or if I did seal, I would lose the 80% chance to get the extra attack. So now she actually does shit and isn't just an RNG machine. And she also does more damage equal to her attack, which is pretty nice. So she like she has a built-in fairy tail now, which is good because you can just run her on a non-fairy tail and have that. S3 doesn't really change. It just changes from a 70% chance to an 80% chance to decrease defense, but the S1 is really all you want. So I'm happy with this. I'm very happy with ADS. Now she is no longer a percent failure. She's much more consistent. So I will probably be using her much more than I was, which was not at all. So good buff all around. The first one that's actually like changed something substantial. I'm still upset about Pirate Captain Flan, as you should be too. Elagos is just cleave now, but we'll go over him. So he gets greater attack buff, I guess, instead of perception, which is fine, I suppose, because they're just giving him innate perception. Better perception, actually. So that's one. When he has greater attack, it's a dual attack instead of perception. That's not a super big change. His S2 increases his hit chance and his critical hit damage by 50%, which is wild. When an ally, except for the caster, defeats an enemy, activates Time Bomb against the enemy with the lowest health. So he'll just clean someone up as opposed to just go after the person with the highest attack, which feels more fitting given the name of the skill, but pretty good. And the Time Bomb, the S2, is what will give him greater attack buff. And he no longer has the speed thing that they just concised it into damage dealt increases proportional to caster speed, and it does higher damage. His S1 does do less damage though, which is funny, but you have greater attack now, so it's irrelevant. S3, because he has innate hit chance now, it inflicts 60% resource reduction and increases his combat readiness by 50%, in addition to decreasing their combat readiness by 50%. But the damage goes down. It all sounds pretty good, but I don't cleave, so this does not affect me at all. But it sounds like a better a much more consistent Elagos for people that do cleave. Which is wonderful. Happy for you. If you use Elagos, this is wonderful. His exclusive equipment now gives stealth for 2 turns, so you still don't have to run Guiding Light. Hooray. And you can also, or you could use his other exclusive equipment, which just changes it back to the original highest attack. But I doubt everybody will do that. Everyone just uses the stealth one. This video is going to need music because I am boring. Chloe, this one isn't really super useful, I guess. Increases her attack when she does her S3? S2? I don't know how Chloe works. Can you tell? But 3 turns is a long time. Magic Nail seems to have been changed. 2% of it's 25% of the stun size. Now it just does additional damage. And now the S3 stuns for 1 turn and ignores effect resistance if they are inflicted with Magic Nail. Okay. So it just seems like they cleaned up what Magic Nail does and how it works, which is fine. Chloe saw no play outside of a few people, a few niche people in RTA, and she will continue to be niche. So again, out of all of these so far, the only one that you will probably see will be ADS and Elagos. Pirate Captain Plan, still bad. Closer Charles, more consistent. Nothing really changed, though. Her exclusive equipments are changing. Increases her combat readiness, increases damage dealt by S3, or has an 85% chance to decrease defense and ignores resist. But that 85% chance is not a 100% chance, so be wary of that. Euphine has become a cleaver yet again. Now her S2, instead of giving her buffs, will just give her a 70% chance to decrease defense for 2 turns and silence for 85 turns. Her S3 now increases her attack before she uses it, and gives her an extra turn when someone is defeated. So I believe the way it was, her S2 gave her the extra turn, if you soul burn specifically. But now you have an extra turn if the S3 is defeated. When the skill is available after an ally uses a skill. So if they have a debuff, it pushes her up by 20% chance, which is kind of nice. I'm also just now noticing there's no limit on our S3, so she just kills everybody. Can't you just S3, S3, S3 and kill their entire team? It does more damage if they have a debuff, so kind of like Jacko. And her imprint is now crit chance. Oh, okay. It doesn't reset the skill cooldown. Okay, gotcha. So she'll S3, it doesn't reset the cooldown. Because I was like, it still resets the cooldown of the S3 if she kills someone, right? But it doesn't. So that's pretty okay. Yeah, this is just cleave. It's cleave. It's just cleave. You can ignore it. You'll just have to learn how to fight against it because everybody cleaves. But it seems all right, just not for me. Sinful Angelica, I believe, is also one that I'm very excited about. Her S1 now, instead of decreasing attack, decreases defense, which is infinitely better when you're dual attacking. So that's great. Soul Burn decreases it for 2 turns. So, you know, that goes along with the defense change. Soul Harvest So it used to be when she was immortal, so she'd have to get her S3 off. Enemies can't be revived. Now enemies just cannot revive. So she is better Bryceria in the fact that it is not symmetrical. You can die and be revived. They cannot. Which is fantastic. Her S3 now dispels 2 debuffs from all allies, which is so good. Will be adjusted to be more user-friendly. So I'm excited. I will probably use Sinful Angelica because I always liked her, but she's just like, you need to build her 3 billion effect res. Because if you don't, they'll just strip you, and then you can't dual attack, and then they can revive, and then she's useless. But they still can't revive even if she's not immortal. So I'll give her a shot. I like her. Sigurd Scythe, to be fair. Okay. So everyone's going to freak out about this one, saying, oh my god, it's a nerf. They're changing it from 25% to 20%. They're nerfing Sigurd. It's not a nerf. It's not a nerf. It's a side grade. You give up 5% attack percent to have it be applied always. And I feel that is a fair trade. Because you only get that extra attack if your HP is 50% or lower. Now you always get the 10 to 20% chance. Always. Regardless. It is a side grade. It is not worse. It is not better. It is just different. So, of all of the things, don't freak out about this one. It's fine. Because I know people are going to freak out about this one. An offer you can't refuse has been given an extra paragraph. So it used to be when defeating an enemy with a single attack increases combat readiness of the ally with the highest combat readiness except for the caster by 10 to 20%. Now, after attacking with a single target attack, when the target receives damage equivalent to 50% or more of the max health, has up to 100% chance to increase combat readiness of all allies by 15%. It can only be activated once per turn. So it's just getting a little extra bonus. Yeah. I don't think you'll see this artifact as much. I mean, you won't see this artifact at all, just like you haven't before. I don't think this changes anything. But just remember, each of these adventure stories of our heirs echoes throughout Orbis in the 7th world. We are grateful to be with you on your EpicSeven journey. We will continue to try our best to improve the heroes in our game so that every character can be utilized by our heroes. However, even though we want every unit to be utilized, we still won't increase the number of pre-bans in RTA. Go fuck yourself. Anyway, so let's go over the overview. Let's see. Pirate Captain Flan is laughable. They changed quite literally nothing. Closer Charles, just a little bit more consistent. Archdemon Saddles, infinitely more consistent. She's the big winner. Elagos and Chloe and Euphine are Cleave. Chloe really just got Magic Nail changed to be more consistent. Elagos and Euphine are just more cleave options. Sinful Angelica, pretty good. I like her changes all around. Sigurd Scythe, once again, is a side grade. Not better or worse, just different. And an offer you can't refuse will continue to see no play whatsoever. Anyway, let me know what you think about these changes and why Moonlight Flan got shafted yet again. We could have had fun changes last time, but Reddit cried, and now they did literally nothing to change her, but made some green text to make a thing like we had changed her. Like, look at how much green text they gave her in this paragraph. All of it to say we made her slightly worse. So, you know, this is what we all deserve for Reddit and Stove crying about Pirate Captain Flan doing cool things. Now she does nothing. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I love all of you. Goodbye.